No, we shouldn't be playing this way of football with the players we have. We shouldn't. Our only game plan shouldn't be get it to our defence, ping it long, and hope for a few knockdowns to win it in the air. It's absolute toilet football. It is, and I mean, like with the players we had on the pitch, like Ndombele in the middle of the park, Højbjerg there who carries the ball sometimes. You know, the flying wing backs. You know, why the hell are we not playing football? Trying to play through them like we know we can. Ndombele, that's his forte.
It makes no sense to have Ndombele and Dele and then go long so often and try and rely on them to fight their way to the second balls and to put them under pressure that way. It makes no sense. Ali and Ndombele are very much more comfortable with the ball on the ground and playing football and trying to go past players and quick passes and interchanges and that kind of stuff. So why Nuno decided to put them all up front and then risk us being so wide open, because in the hope that if we lump it long enough, there'll be enough players up front for us to win a bit of possession and get something, is ludicrous.
Yeah,
it's ludicrous. And not only that, it was so easy for Arsenal. All they had to do was put Xhaka and Partey there. Then as soon as they win the ball, then Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka and Aubameyang on our goal every time.
But I don't understand what he's thinking. What's he thinking, Nu? What does he think is going to happen? Does he really think that we're just going to bully this Arsenal defence and long ball game is really going to work? Do you really think that long ball game is really going to work? Like,
this is my point. I think we underestimated them big time. Big time. I think we thought that we could bully them. I think we thought that if we put their defence under enough pressure, it would be easy to create loads of chances against them. But we didn't realise that they've toughened up. They've got, with Partey and Gabriel there, they've got a lot of aggression in the centre with Xhaka there as well. And it's not going to be just going long ball all the time isn't going to be a tactic conducive to getting joy out of this Arsenal side like we thought. We thought we could do what Brentford did basically, and go really direct and just get Ivan Toney up there and bully them and get a lot of joy up front. But it wasn't like that whatsoever. Dele's not going to do that. Ndombele's not going to do that. They're not fighters.
And Ben White had Harry Kane on toast.
Ben White had Harry Kane exactly in his pocket, in the air. So you got to start getting it on the ground. You got to start playing some football. You got to start bringing your best players into their fortes and with elements of trying to break the lines. You know, Ndombele's at his best with the balls at his feet and taking on players and doing quick things on instinct. You can't do that when you're lumping the ball long all the time.
And I'm sorry, but you could see something was horribly wrong after the first few minutes of the game. I remember saying it like, well, we're not at the races here. I said it to you in the first few minutes of the game. And you could see that straight away. So...
And also, Tomiyasu as well. Tomiyasu was always going to be dominant in that
exactly.
kind of
but what sort of manager doesn't change it when he sees things going wrong? Why do you wait till half time until it's too late?
Because he wanted time, I guess, to implement his for the plan to be implemented, and I think
it was getting worse and worse as the first half wore on, and like those first few minutes were massive alarm bells. And if he can't see it and everyone else can see it, then what the hell's going on?
Yeah, but in his defence on that front, sorry, got a bit of a cold today. In his defence on that front, sometimes you can start a game badly and then grow into it, and you can get back in the game and start dominating whatever. So it's difficult. It's difficult to really know if your plan is definitely not going to work, because until you give it time. I think at 2-0 he should have changed it. I think at 2-0 he 100% should have changed it. But I think at 1-0 you're still waiting to see, okay, can they implement my plan? But at 2-0, you know it's not working.
I think maybe some cases you could say that, but with the amount of times they were opening us up time and time and time again, you can't keep it like that. You have to change something. Even at 0-0, even at 1-0, 12 minutes in they scored, right? Mm-hmm. Before that, they must have had about 3 or 4 chances. And you could see they were going to open us up at will. Even those first few minutes here that Jamie Carragher was spotting out, the alarm bells were completely there, but we were winning some of the second balls that kind of got us out of a bit of trouble. After we won those second balls, I don't think we won another second ball for the rest of the first half.
No. I think the plan was wrong from the start. We all know that.
Yeah, but you have to see the bigger picture. You have to change things. You have to. If you're a manager in the Premier League...
If every manager did that, then I think you'd be changing it all the time, you know what I mean? I think if like Tuchel changed it at half time, but he could have been losing it at half time against Spurs, but obviously they weren't. But I'm saying like you can't.
Nah,
you
it's
can't.
completely different.
I don't think you can always just change it immediately all the time.
It's completely different because that Tuchel thing, yeah, Spurs were on top and we had, we were looking good in possession and stuff like that, but we weren't creating too many chances. It wasn't like a massive structural problem from Chelsea where they were getting split open every time. Arsenal were splitting us open at will. At will. And if you can't change it and you can't see what's happening on that pitch, then I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Like, come on. Like, it's a complete different situation what happened at White Hart Lane when Chelsea came.
Yeah, and I think he should have changed it earlier. I think he should have changed it. I think he should have changed it probably at 2-0. I think that would have been the right time to change it. Prevent that third goal going again, you're still in the game. I think that 2-0 down, that was the biggest mistake. But I still think I can understand why he didn't change it before then, because I still think you got to let the game play out a bit in front of you to see how it goes, how your tactics are going. Obviously, for the first 20 minutes, it went horrifically wrong. And I think once it went 2-0, he should have changed it. But I think sometimes you don't know how it's going to go until it's played out in front of you. And that's how it played out.
Everyone in that stadium could see the way it was going. Yeah, it's easy to say that in
hindsight. It's easy to say that.
Yeah, of course it is easy to say it in hindsight, but everyone, I said to you after the first 2 minutes, this ain't going to go well.
I could probably name you 100 games where first 10 minutes we've been terrible and we will go on to win, you know what I mean? It happens. Like, how we don't know whether it's a bad spell or it's just awful tactics until it plays out. And I think at 2-0, at that point you say, okay, this ain't working, change it.
Yeah, but he should have the foresight for that. And we're just fans going to games and watching a game. Like, fine, like maybe we can't assess it as well as he goes. He's the manager of the team. He should be able to see if it's working or not and if his plan is coming to fruition or not.
Yeah, yes, true. That's very true.
You know what I mean? Didn't. And he couldn't see that. And he couldn't see that against Crystal Palace either. And
yeah, Palace, he should have changed it at half time.
Palace, he should have changed it at half time. Arsenal, we should have changed it within the first half. And he's failed to do that. And we've had 2 horrible, horrible losses. 3-0 against Crystal Palace, which is unheard of. And 3-1 against Arsenal at the Emirates. Yeah. In a complete insipid no-show. It's nowhere near good enough. The managerial tactics on show from Nuno is not good enough. The kind of the players as well.
But he would have learned stuff about his players, like about Dele and Ndombele and what kind of role he's putting them in. You know, he obviously, in hindsight, it was easy to say it's not going to work. And Dele, well, you could never put Dele and Ndombele in that position. And look, of course, if you asked me before the game, I would have said it would have been a disaster. But now he knows that he can't do that. And
why didn't he know before that? If you know.
Because we've seen Dele and Ndombele for a lot longer than he has.
Yeah, but he should be doing his homework. He's the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. He should have known this. He's the manager, for God's sake. He sees them every day in training. He should have been watching videos of previous years.
Why did it take Pochettino till November to starting Harry Kane? You know what I mean? It's just how it is sometimes.
Because no one had ever seen Harry Kane play.
We did. We played in Europa League every single week.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? And he kept playing at Adebayo and Soldado. Why? It's just because he had to figure it out. And then he figured it out. And I want to give Nuno a same amount of time.
I think it's completely different. Harry Kane was a young player coming through the ranks. Yeah, he played in a few Europa League games and done well. Dele Alli has been at the fore for 6-7 years now. Ndombele, everyone knows his flaws for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? It's a completely different situation with
Nuno's
Pochettino
still
and Nuno.
new to this team.
He is new to this team, but he needs to get to the grips with it a lot quicker than he is.
I remember, that's what I'm saying. He still needs a bit of time. He needs time to figure everyone out still, and that's just reality. Unfortunately, I know it's hard. It's not.
Who plays without a midfield?
Yeah, of course, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Who actually thinks it's a good idea? You know what? Today, everyone says the game is won and lost in midfield. Let's play without one today.
Yeah, because I think what happened was he listened too much to the fans who wanted more attacking football, and he went attacking. He went gung ho, actually. Pretty much. That's what I feel. He went way too attacking. He went way too overboard. But that's what a lot of the fans were calling for. Oh, just have a go.
No
go
fans.
for it.
No fans. I'm sorry. No fans are calling to get the ball to Eric Dyer and get the ball to Davinson Sanchez and lump it forward for 45 minutes. No fan is calling for that. None.
No, but they're looking for
to play good attacking football on the floor. You know what I mean? Play the Tottenham way. Go gung-ho. Yeah, fine, go gung-ho. I don't mind if you go gung-ho, but actually play it in a clever way. You know what I mean? Don't just lump it forward and hope for the best.
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand what the strategy was in terms of trying to get joy out of that physical Arsenal backline. It made no sense. But I don't agree with the strategy at all. And if that's the best he has to offer, then we're in big trouble. But I think he was going very attacking. That was the thing. And imagine if, obviously, if we started skipping Højbjerg and Dele in the centre and it went wrong, everyone would have said, "Oh, he's so defensive," all that kind of stuff. So obviously less likely to go wrong. But I think he was trying. I don't know whether it was influence from the top or I don't know what it was. I think he just went really attacking to kind of
but there's
suit
ways
the
to
fans.
do it, man. There's a way to do it, and that I'm sorry, but that you don't appease the fans by playing no midfield and lumping it forward for all game. You don't do that.
He underestimated Arsenal.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's Bolton tactics. That's how Bolton used to found joy against Arsenal back in the day with Sam Allardyce. You know what I mean? Like, that's Bolton tactics. That's Stoke tactics. That's not a team going for Europe's tactics. I'm sorry, it's not. We got a super chat here from Negul Maguran saying, "Hey Ben and Sim, feel your pain supporting Spurs since the 80s, missing the football we played before. Something's not right. This is hurting, guys." Yeah, absolutely spot on. And it's true. Like, something is not right, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. I know, obviously, it all stems from the top and stuff like that, but this manager and these players are put in a situation by the chairman, but they should be producing a lot better with what they've got at the moment.
Yeah, well, we've known this for a while. There's just these players there are players in the team. There are players in the team who are not up for it right now, who don't want to give that extra bit of effort. And it's been that case for a while. It's been that case since the end of Pochettino's reign, and we keep blaming managers left, right and centre. But and Nuno's tactics definitely did not help. But I don't know. It's not always the manager. I feel like, how many times can we blame the manager until the players take more responsibility?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the players need to take responsibility, and the players didn't look up for it on the weekend. But I actually think this is a different case to under Jose last year or what we've seen maybe even earlier on this season. But I think yesterday, after seeing all the kind of assessments from everyone, I think yesterday was mainly down to Nuno. I genuinely believe that because of those tactics, the players were fighting a losing battle from minute one, especially with him not changing it.
Yeah, I agree with that. The tactics were suicide. I don't understand. I think mainly, if you've got good passers, say you got Thiago Silva or whatever at the back with Alderweireld, then that can work. But when you have Dyer and Sanchez, it's never going to work. Mm-hmm. It's never going to work. You don't have the quality to play into the forward line that you need if you're going to make it stick and actually create opportunities and maybe little dinks over the top and get players running on goal. The only time it did work was when Kane got in like once, and that was it. Other than that, nothing. We didn't have any sort of quality on the back line. So that kind of tactic was never going to work. And that's why we needed to build through the midfield with our quality players. And that the tactics didn't lend to that until we got to the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got it completely wrong. But look,
how many more performances like this can he survive, though? And also, like, even if he does put more performances like this, like surely he's got to survive because there's no plan. There's no plan anyway. You know what I mean? Like, who can we even bring in if we do sack Nuno?
Don't know.
There's no one.
I'm sure there's someone out there, but it's hard to envisage who right now. I'm sure there are managers we can get, but anyone who would satisfy
Tony
us.
Pulis, Sam Allardyce, you know what
No,
I mean? Like,
I
who
think
are we
they're
going to get?
Probably a good manager you can get, but I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure we're not going to sack him anyway until there's a replacement in place. Like that's how it works with Tottenham. We like to talk to people before we do anything.
Yeah, that's what you said about Jose Mourinho as well.
That's true. And Mourinho, we completely screwed that. Well, we gave it to Mason, didn't we?
We gave it to Mason, but that shows we didn't have a plan.
Yeah. We didn't talk. Well, the whole Mourinho thing was different. That was like I feel like that was just made on a whim. Usually when we sack a manager, like for example Poch, like we kind of there was inklings about it for a few weeks where he was going to get sacked and everything. And then remember the international break, everyone was saying there was rumours he was actually going to get sacked, and then he ended up getting sacked. And Martin Jol, they were talking to Ramos months before, before sacking him and stuff like that. I feel like Mourinho was different. They just did that on a whim.
Yeah, but can you not see, like, if these results keep happening, these performances keep happening, let's say for argument's sake we go out and lose our next 3 games, right? I don't think we will, but let's say we do, right? Against Aston Villa, Newcastle away, and West Ham away. Do you not think Levy's just going to panic and pull the trigger?
Don't know. It depends. It really depends. If it's really as bad as it has been the last 3 games, then yeah. It really depends on how it goes. Even if we lose the next 3, there are genuine signs of improvement in a weird way. Even losing the next 3 wouldn't be signs of improvement, but if I don't know. It's difficult. It's really difficult to say. It's difficult to say just based on us losing. But do I say he panics and sacks him if we lose 6 games in a row? I mean, it'd be hard not to.
That's what I'm saying.
It'd be hard not to, but I don't know. Well, it's just a hypothetical situation. I don't know.
It is a hypothetical situation, but
if he wins the next 2 games, is he going to get manager of the month? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Probably. But nobody can see where our next win's coming from at the moment.
Yeah, everyone says that always after a bad defeat.
It's not just a bad defeat, though. It's not just a bad defeat. It's 2 actually horrific defeats. Absolutely horrific defeats. That Crystal Palace one, like I said, everyone could have spotted the problems. You need to change it at half-time. Didn't do that. Against Arsenal, like, the tactics were completely shocking. Needed to change it within that first half. Didn't do that. We ended up losing the game dramatically, both games. Absolutely horrible defeats. I really hope that he can turn this around and, like, we can find a way around it, but it's really tough, man. It's really tough.
I remember Conte in his first... I'm not saying Nuno's any Conte, but I'm just saying Conte in his first few weeks at Chelsea, he was having a real time. He nearly got sacked in his first few weeks.
Yeah, and went off to win the league that year.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but I'm just saying, I remember he had a terrible defeat against Arsenal. They were 3-0 down at half-time. Horrific defeat. And that was off the back of a terrible loss to Liverpool, I remember.
Yeah.
And everyone was questioning whether he was going to stay on the job, but then he turned it around. And, it's only 6 games. Like, Nuno needs time. He needs time. And obviously when things go as badly as they did on Sunday, it's hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel and think he's anything more to his locker and how bad he got it so wrong on Sunday. But that doesn't mean he can't figure it out.
I'm not saying he can't figure it out. I'm just saying that the alarm signs are there. They're there right now.
Of course they are. And he needs to do it quickly because of how bad that defeat was. But doesn't mean he can't.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But, there are complete levels between Nuno and Conte, you know what I mean? Conte saw the problem after that Arsenal game. Yeah, albeit he had problems before that and, didn't do that. But as soon as that Arsenal game, as soon as what happened against Arsenal happened, he was just like, you know what, I'm not taking no more shit anymore.
Okay, so maybe Nuno needs to do that.
He changed it completely up, and then he found the winning structure, and then he pretty much, I don't know, did he lose another game that season? Maybe 1 or 2 games that season.
He lost to us.
And that was it.
I think he lost a couple more. Anyway.
He hardly lost the game for the rest of the season, pretty much. Anyway.
Yeah, obviously we're not expecting Nuno to do that. I'm not expecting Nuno to do that, but it doesn't mean he can't figure out a way of playing for Tottenham to be semi-successful.
I really hope he can, man. I really hope he can, because this the last.
I think it's just way too early to start writing him off. I think it's way too early.
It's the last thing we need now is a manager change. That's literally the last thing we need.
I think it's so early to start talking about that. I really do. I think it's so early to start talking about a managerial change, even considering it at this point. And it's too early.
But you're saying if we do lose our next 2 games, it's not too early to start talking about it.
No, I said no. I still think it is, but I would say, what I would say is, if we do lose our next 3 games hypothetically in this hypothetical situation, I'd say the pressure would be very, very high.
Do you really think it's that unbelievable to think that we can lose our next 3 games? Like, Villa have just turned the corner. They're playing really well at the moment. West Ham, I mean, that's going to be a very difficult game. So those are 2 games that we can very easily lose. And the Newcastle game, fine, it'll be. If we lose that, then we really are in big trouble.
I think, look, obviously they're all good teams. They can beat us, but we have to make sure we figure out a way of playing we have to make sure that we figure out a way of playing that Nuno can figure out. I'm going to back Nuno to figure out how to get this team playing. No, maybe not going to win those 3 games, but I don't think we'll lose all 3.
Are you backing Nuno just because he's our manager, or some things that you've seen?
Not from the Arsenal game.
I'm saying some things you've seen since he's become a manager at Tottenham Hotspur. Are you? Is this blind faith just because he's a Spurs manager, or is this because
it's been
of
terrible.
some things you've seen?
No, because of how Nuno's been previously in his other jobs, that he's figured it out. I think a lot of the time, especially with Wolves, I think he was a good manager. I do think that. So I don't think he's. Look, everyone says this guy's mediocre, whatever, and you could argue that his managerial career before Tottenham was better than Pochettino's managerial career before Tottenham. Like, I'm not saying he's as good as Poch, but I'm just saying, just looking at their purely at where the level of where they were managing.
Fine,
before.
But Poch never really got sacked before he joined Spurs, did he?
He got sacked by Espanyol.
I thought he left Espanyol for Southampton.
He got sacked.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure he got sacked by Espanyol because they started the season really badly. And then Southampton he left for Tottenham. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Nuno, when it comes to Nuno,
yeah,
I think that he has. I think he's in the previous jobs he's proven to me he can create a good team. So I think I'm gonna give him more than 6 games to do it for Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I think he can do it.
Okay, I hope you're right, man. I really do.
Obviously, I'm not happy with how things have started. Of course, I'm not. But you got to have a little bit more faith than throwing in the towel after 6 games.
It's not about throwing in the towel. It's about seeing what you're seeing with your eyes and keeping your eyes open and the alarm bells are clearly ringing. You know what I mean? It's not. You can't just have blind faith and be like, oh, you know what, he's going to turn it around. You need to look at what you're seeing. You need to look at what you're seeing, and it's just not good enough right now.
I'm seeing a manager who's trying to figure things out. He's got things horribly wrong in some tough games. The last 2 games was against was a North London derby, which obviously got horribly wrong, and a game against Chelsea, which are best team in the league. Before that, it was 0-0 up until we got a red card against Palace, albeit we weren't playing well. We're still 0-0 though. And then the past 3 games before that, we won 1-0 despite not playing the best football. We still got results, and we were in the. I don't think you could say, apart from maybe the Wolves game, you can't say we were definitely the worst team on the pitch. So I still think he's still trying to figure it out. He still needs time with his squad to figure out the best way of getting the best out of certain players, and it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job, and I'm hoping he can figure out a way of playing that could suit everyone, and I'm sure he's going back to the drawing board. And of course, 20th in shots, 20th in chances created, all this kind of stuff is horrific. It's terrible, but it's only 6 games. Let's give him a bit more time.